This is lesson 4.1a, elementary algebra, multiplication with exponents. So you've already done exponents over the years, but it's always good to have some practice. So for instance, if we have 3 to the 4th power, you remember that means 3, that doesn't look like a 3. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So we get, you can do this any way you want. A lot of people just start and go 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. Or they'll do 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 9 is 81. So whatever way works for you, that is great. And remember, when you have something like 3/4 and that's squared, that means 3 squared over 4 squared. This 2 affects both the numerator and the denominator, and you get 9 over 16. Also, when you have something like negative 3/4 and the quantity squared, where is that negative? Is it on the 3 or is it on the 4? It doesn't matter, okay, because this is going to equal negative 3/4 times negative 3/4. Notice I put them in parentheses because that negative sign is part of the fraction. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, and 4 times 4 is 16. Once you use this positive once, and in this case we did it on the top, we made it negative 3 times negative 3. Once it's used, it's gone. So you don't do it on the 4. So anyway, that gives us 9 over 16. And if you remember right, there is a difference between, let's get rid of some of this goop. There's a difference between this and this. Remember, this means we square the number and then we take the opposite. This here means the negative is part of the number, so we take negative 3 times negative 3. So we multiply those two together, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So this one you get a negative, this one you get a positive. So remember, if the parentheses are there, then you square the negative. If the parentheses are not there, then you tag the negative onto the answer. All right, let's look at what is called one of the multiplication rules for exponents. And that multiplication rule says that when we multiply numbers with exponents, such as that equals 5 to the exponent, you add the exponents. So equals 5 to the 4th power. Okay, if we have 6, golly, where's my numbers? So if we have 6 cubed times 6 to the 4th, again, 6 to the 3 plus 4 equals 6 to the 7th power. Now notice a couple things here. In order for this to happen, these numbers here, or if they're letters, have to be the same. If this were 3 squared times 4 squared, you do not get 2 plus 2 for this right here, because what are you going to use for your base number? The 3 or the 4, and you definitely don't multiply them and get a 12. So just some rules to remember. When you are multiplying, the base numbers do not change. Notice the 6 here is still the 6 here. You don't do 6 times 6 is 36. The 6 stays there. You add the exponents. Put that in your notes, because a lot of the stuff, there's just a ton of it, and I don't want you to miss out and get the answer wrong because you didn't write something down. So 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 8th times 3 to the 5th equals 3 to the 4 plus 8 plus 5, or 3 to the 17th power. Okay, so notice we still have a 3 there. Okay, so something else to be thinking about. What about if we have something like this? Well, let's make it change here. Let's make that squared to the third power. So notice, we don't have something like 5 squared times 5 cubed to where we add the exponents. We have something far different. We have 5 squared to the third power. So this actually means 5 squared is 25, and then to the third power is going to look like that. So what we're going to do then, instead of write that out, is we are going to multiply the exponents. So when the exponents are separated by a parenthesis, like right here, then you multiply 5 to the 6th power. So if we have something like x to the 4th to the 6th power, they're separated by the parentheses, the exponents are, so you multiply them and you get x to the 24th power. Okay? So if you look at examples 8 and 9, I shouldn't have to go over those with you. They're just showing that you multiply those. Now let's do one that is at the bottom of page 232 here. And it says 2x, and then they put that as a cubed. Alright, what does that mean? That means everything in there is cubed. 2 times 2 times 2, and x times x times x. So these multiplied give me 8, and these multiplied give me, I have 3 of them, so I have 8x cubed there for an answer. So if I have two numbers in parentheses or letters, and there's a 3 there, that 3 applies to each part of that. If I have 3x, y, z, a, b, c to the 4th power, that is going to be 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81, x to the 4th, y to the 4th, z to the 4th, a to the 4th, b to the 4th, c to the 4th. Okay, so see what happened? You put that 4 on every stinking thing on there. So the next video, 4.1, B as in boy, we'll go over some more examples.